We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Cactus Wrestling is now available on Spotify and Amazon. And don't forget to check us out on Etsy for all of your Cactus Wrestling apparel needs. Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling, y'all. Hey, yo.
Oh,
We're going to talk about Hodge, but before we do, we have another viewer caller.
okay.
So let's let me
I
cue
can't get
this
enough
up.
of them, you know?
We love these viewer calls. It's the Cactus Wrestling Show. Here we go.
Hey, Cactus Wrestling. Randy from Buffalo, New York calling here again. Just wanted to call and say thanks for having me on the first time and, just have a question for you guys. Again, I'm a fourth-time caller, third-time listener, very excited to be on the show. Just wanted to call and ask you guys, what is the potential for second in command, Lieutenant Colonel Wyatt Hendrickson? I mean, how much better can this guy get? After one full season with David Taylor in Oklahoma, we saw a dominant senior season outside of the Gable wins. I mean, he dominated the rest of the guys in that division. He dominated Dalton Schultz, who was an NCAA runner-up just a few years ago. He dominated last year's national champion and Greg Kervlett. I mean, the guy absolutely ran through that bracket, and he was excellent. How much better can this guy get? So can you guys tell me if he, spent, which he's going to, how much better can he get in international competition when he spends his off-season time with these elite world wrestlers? Is he going to be the next Bruce Baumgartner representing the USA? I'd like to know. And I also want to make one more point. Kyle Dake's an absolute has-been. He's a spaz. Total has-been. I want to know what your thoughts on Kyle Dake being, friggin' pud whacker. So that's how I feel about him. He wouldn't autograph my cousin's skateboard. So, screw that guy. So, thanks again, guys.
All right, Randy, thanks for the call. Wow.
Never been spoken.
I mean, as far as how much better can he get, I feel like
A lot
I
better.
could see Wyatt meddling or going for a world title. Like, I could see him being in the mix for it.
It's
If
tough.
Mason Paris could be a bronze medalist, I think Wyatt is definitely in that tier.
Yeah, it's tough because like freestyle, obviously the scoring is so different, and judging Wyatt's folk style, freestyle ability off of a folk style match, I mean, he would have given up a lot of points in exposure.
But that's also,
That's
you're
my point. Is like it's tough to
in the folk
judge
style match, you're not worrying about that.
exactly, and that's why like I talked to somebody about this, and I was like, oh, Gable's probably still better than freestyle. I said, but it is what it is.
May or may not be the case.
Well, that's what, yeah, and I said but Wyatt's past performances, freestyle wise, have not been as impressive as some of the other guys. I think he's 100% in the mix to win the spot. But I think that he's going to need at least one more year of just training freestyle to really propel him to the higher levels.
He's
I
definitely
don't
got
think he's
all the
ready to go
tools in place
make a
too.
world run this year, is what I'm saying.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would say he's going to be a favorite for a world title this year, but like I feel like he could definitely like he's training through the Olympics. Like I could see if that's all he's doing for the next 4 years is training for the
And he's
Olympics.
big.
He
He is
could
big.
he could definitely be in the mix for that Olympic gold.
You think Olympic gold, not even just like Team USA spot?
I would like to see him make the world
In four
team.
years, I don't think it's unreasonable. Like
You think he'll win the spot in 4 years?
I think he definitely could, yeah.
Wow.
What
You
young heavyweight you think is gonna knock him off?
Gable Steveson.
That guy's not gonna.
We don't know. We don't know
In
what
four
Gable's
years,
gonna
Wyatt
do.
will be almost 30. So
Well, and so will Gable, but
that.
Well, hey, Kyle Dake, the Pudwhacker, is
Staying on.
he's staying around as well.
oh yeah, for 4 more years, yeah.
He'll be 38 by the time the Olympics comes around again.
Can you believe that he
I
wouldn't
don't.
sign Randy's cousin's skateboard?
That's such a
Yeah,
Kyle
that's a
Dick
weird
move.
thing. Like wrestlers don't have that many people asking them for autographs, so like,
Yeah, but why would you why would you bring your skateboard to a wrestling
yeah. I mean,
event?
maybe that was the only thing you happen to have, but
A skateboard?
I've heard some interesting stories about Kyle Dake in the past from wrestlers that competed alongside him at the Journeyman World Classic when he was doing freestyle. When he was training at Cornell, I had a friend that was a strength coach on the staff and didn't necessarily speak very highly of him. He's accomplished a ton. He's
Would you call him a has-been?
no, I just think that he'll probably never win Olympic gold. But
Yeah, I don't think gold is in his future. Like,
yeah, I mean, but that's to be
I'm
fair,
not even
like
sure if he'll win another world title.
Will he
that's
even be the guy for
he
Team
should go up to
USA?
86 kilo.
Oh, you think he should move up?
I think he should. I don't think there's a
You
reason
think
for him.
he'd beat Aaron Brooks?
No, Aaron Brooks is going 92.
Uh, oh, for the world. Okay.
Yeah, I think that to me, Dake has a hard time maintaining his pace with the weight cut at
But
74,
wouldn't Zahid then be 86?
possibly.
Unless Zahid beats Brooks.
I don't think Zahid
That'd be
wants
at
to go. I think Zahid
92.
wants to stay at 86, but I would like to see Dake move away from
What
74.
about Carter?
I don't know what Carter's future really holds as far as freestyle. I mean, he's been a world medalist, age level, but I don't see him making a big push. Carter's
Oh,
style is a little bit tougher for freestyle. Yes, he's very tough to take down. He holds center super well. I just don't see him as someone that really cares that much about freestyle. I think he's going to be trying to go the MMA route. I mean, he's already doing the American Top Team thing with Bo Nickel in Happy Valley or State College, whatever they call it for their
yeah, but
team.
what
Um,
about Jordan Burroughs?
I have no idea what Jordan Burroughs is doing. I think that he could make a run. He cannot make a run. I mean,
Did you guys see him? He's taking an NIL deal to Mexico,
I saw the one to Russia or some whatever it was.
to Canada.
Yeah, I always
Yeah,
thought that was pretty funny that he got in on that.
yeah.
I mean, it's tough. Jordan Burroughs' club is blowing up. It's going so well, and
Yeah, he probably doesn't know what to do with himself.
that's what I mean. I mean, his kids are growing up. He's already accomplished everything. You know, I think he's starting to lean towards the next generation already of raising the next group of talent.
Mm.
I was surprised he didn't retire yet, based on some
Maybe he's
results.
making one more run.
Yeah, and hopefully he does well. But getting back to Wyatt, I just don't know if he's quite there yet, and I don't want to disrespect Mason Paris, who's accomplished a ton already. And granted, he hasn't beaten Gable Steveson in a folk style match, but he is a world medalist. He
Well,
is
he
a.
hasn't beaten Gable Steveson in a freestyle match either.
I'm sorry, what?
Mason hasn't beaten
Yeah,
him in a freestyle match
and
either.
neither has Wyatt. And
Well,
but
they haven't wrestled him in freestyle. Well, Wyatt hasn't wrestled him in freestyle. He
Well,
lost it.
Steele hasn't wrestled for 3 years, and no one's wrestled him for a while.
Yeah.
let's talk about this because this is kind of the inspiration for the video. Do you think that Wyatt Hendrickson, first and foremost, congratulations to Wyatt Hendrickson for winning the Hodge.
Only the third Oklahoma State wrestler ever, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Do you guys think he deserves the win?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I thought it was going to be down to Carter and Wyatt. I thought it was potentially going to be one of those years where they split it, but realistically, if you look at the stats and whatnot, Wyatt did edge out Carter. He was the more deserving guy.
I
And a
love
lot of people make the argument that with the Carter being a five-time champ, it's like that's irrelevant. That's not a Hodge criteria. If that was Carter's first title or his fifth, it doesn't make a difference. It's the same. In relation to a Hodge Trophy, it no difference.
I'm gonna agree with you in several things. I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a few of them.
Oh yeah.
So I did see someone say that about Carter. They're like, the 5-time thing doesn't make any sense. And then it's like, and plus Wyatt beat Gable, and it goes, okay, but you're basing that on Gable's career, and it's not a career award. It's an individual season award. And I said, Gable hasn't wrestled for 3 years prior to this season. I said, what? And I thought about that. And I said, that's actually a good point. That cancels each other out. I love data. I love numbers. I love stats. A lot of the like wrestling talking heads kind of were making predictions about this. Shane Sparks went behind Carter, Christian Piles in the Flow Wrestling team went behind Carter, and I was kind of wondering why. So Christian Piles said that Carter was favored when it came to bonus rate, wins against All Americans, and bonus percentage against All Americans. Another person broke down some data that I thought was awesome. He said Wyatt had 27 wins this year. Carter, including his win over Parker Keckeisen at the All-Star Classic, also had 27 wins this year. So they're same thing there. Wyatt had 13 pins and one injury default win, which came out to 84 team points. Carter had 6 falls, 6 pins, and one DQ, coming out to 42 team points. So again, Wyatt has twice as many points there. Carter had 10 techs, while Wyatt only had 8 techs. Carter had 5 majors, while Wyatt had 0 majors, and they both had 5 decisions. So when he said it, he broke it down like that. He goes, Carter had basically 127 points, and Wyatt had 139 points. So to that, it shows Wyatt's dominant score. And we've talked about pinning versus teching. Carter has had more techs, and I've said I think a tech is harder, but by the criteria of the sport, the pin is worth more. So that is the absolute most dominating thing you can do is to pin someone. Um, and to think that if Wyatt, who is pinning these guys left and right, if a tech was worth more, theoretically, he could also tech them, right? I mean, it's not like he's like, oh my gosh, it was so hard for me to pin them. I couldn't have turned them several more times if I wanted to, especially now with the 7 point takedown.
Right.
I think a lot of people kind of disrespected the Big 12 conference in this sense and was like, well, Carter had to wrestle the tough Big 10 schedule. He had to beat guys like, Max McAnally and Angelo Ferrari that were going to be great wrestlers. And he beat Max several times this season, which is awesome. Carter beat Dustin Plott, who's a very accomplished wrestler. Carter beat Keckeisen twice, although the All-Star Classic does not count for this. Um, so I thought that there was a good case for Carter as well. I didn't think it was a necessarily clear cut for Wyatt, although he was the favorite. I agree with you. I expected them to do a possible split this year, like they did with Spencer Lee and Gable,
I
which
don't even like the split. Like, I feel like, how do you
yeah,
say
that's
this is the
lazy.
most dominant wrestler in the country, but it's these two guys? Like,
Yeah,
I like it better that they only pick one. Like, stick to your
yeah,
guns, say this is the most dominant person.
100%. And people are going to talk about the 5 time, and I agree with that. I think that's a fair point. But again, how much does it matter when it's supposed to be a season award? And yeah, Carter wrestled great. Um, but you can't fault a guy for only beating the guys in front of him. And
Yeah.
Wyatt did that, and Carter did that. Wyatt beat back-to-back national champions in back-to-back matches.
Yep.
Um, and I think it's very deserving. One thing that I was surprised about when I talked to you guys is that between, I think it was Yanni, Aaron Brooks, and Carter, there are 13 national titles and only one Hodge. And it just shows how hard it is to win the Hodge every year.
Yeah.
Well,
It's such
if
a
you ask
tough
Bo
sport.
Nickel, they don't even give it to the right guy every year.
Well, it's funny, yeah, you bring up Bo Nickel because I just sent you guys someone that commented on a Bo Nickel post listing more stats that like are interesting between the three of them, like record against NCAA qualifiers, bonus against the NCAA qualifiers, wins against All-Americans, bonus against All-Americans, wins against former NCAA champs. Um, where I mean Wyatt had more over the national qualifiers wins 17 to 14. He had 7 pins, 4 techs versus 6 techs and 4 falls, 4 majors, no pins for Carter on the bonus against All Americans. Wins against All Americans was tied at 8. Bonus against All Americans, Wyatt had 2 pins, 1 tech, whereas Carter had 2 techs and 3 majors. Wins against former NCAA champs, Wyatt had Greg and Gable, whereas Carter just had Parker twice, or if you count both. So I mean, looking at that stuff, again, I think it went to the right guy. Um, and funny with you mentioning Bo Nickel is that he just seems like a Penn State homer with sour grapes that the Penn State guy didn't get it. Like he didn't offer any reasoning that Carter should have got it other than
Because
saying,
he's the best.
yeah, exactly. He goes, not to take away from what Wyatt did, because he's amazing, he's amazing. But this award's supposed to go to the best wrestler, and Carter's the best wrestler. But that he doesn't offer any reasoning to like back that up as why is Carter the best wrestler? Like that he doesn't
Five
offer
time, baby.
anything at
Five
all.
time.
It's well, Carter's still part of a very exclusive group of people that didn't win it.
He's got his own Wikipedia page.
He does. But again, like I just looking through other wrestling stuff, the amount of guys that had incredible careers that didn't win the Hodge. I mean, Ed Ruth, Kyle Snyder, Jason Nolf, um, Jaden Cox, Jordan Oliver. I mean, some really
But
talented wrestlers out there. Imar didn't win it.
also, Bo Nickel's
Zahid.
argument of the best
Zahid.
wrestler, the Hodge Trophy goes to the most dominant wrestler.
Yes, it's not. It is not the Heisman. It is different.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not the Heisman. It's you are the most dominant.
Mhm.
So, and a lot of the criteria are pretty objective. So it becomes pretty clear.
Well, I think his argument was like, what, then why is there a fan vote? If you have all these
That's true.
criteria, then like, what are we even voting for, and why does the fan vote matter?
Do
I
you?
saw some people commenting on Bo Nickel's thing, being like, "So you going to give up your return your Hodge then, Bo?"
Well, he did say that. That's why he said if Wyatt wins, he'll like give his Hodge away or something. He'll give his own Hodge away.
Yeah. Well, and
And
everyone's like, "Well, where is it?
he said, yeah, he said he's not going to do that. He's going to give it to Carter. He said.
Why would
Speaking of
Carter
the
want
fan
that?"
vote, though, do you think that Penn State kind of suffered from their own success in the fact that they had some people voting for Mitch and some people voting for Carter?
I don't think
Because,
a lot of people did vote for Mitch.
but if you took Mitch's votes and gave them to Carter, then he would have won. Then Carter would have won the fan vote.
I don't think it matters what team the person was on. I think it's pretty clear that you can differentiate the individuals and the successes they each had.
Yeah.
What I
My
what I think is interesting though is over the past 5 seasons, 4 out of those 5, the Hodge has gone to a heavyweight.
I think it shows that heavyweight wrestling is really a lot more exciting than it used to be. Um,
Or maybe the competition's just not as good.
I
Honestly, this year was probably the deepest heavyweights ever been.
yeah. I don't know. I'm really enjoying seeing
Like,
like these athletic type heavyweights. I know we kind of poo-poo on Colton Schultz a lot, but I feel like he's the kind of the old guard of bigger, slower.
Adam Kuhn.
Yeah, and I think that now you're seeing guys like Wyatt who are large. Don't get me wrong, like they're big, but they move. I mean, he was scrambling. You have guys like Kirk who, when he wants to wrestle, does well. You have guys like Gable that are so dynamic. Mason Paris. I mean, you have so many incredibly athletic type heavyweights now that I think it's really putting heavyweight wrestling on under like the magnifying glass and people saying like, look how talented these big guys are. And it's just I've always said heavyweight wrestling is the most entertaining. I love coaching them in high school. They are like the most fun guys to coach because you never know what's going to happen. And I think that the excitement kind of trickles into the Hodge. Um, do you guys think that sportsmanship played a big role in the Hodge decision? Because Carter's not necessarily known for being a good
He
sport.
is like one of the least sportsman-like people out there.
It's one of the four criteria. Wyatt, as we know, is well known to be like an all-around great guy. Carter has put some interesting things out onto the interwebs. He's
And then
made some
sometimes he
comments.
deletes them, but
Yeah, he often, some of them do get deleted. Um, but do you think that that came back to kind of bite him in the butt, or do you think it didn't really matter in this sense?
I
I
think
mean,
it's in the back of people's heads. So
yeah,
you
like I
have
think
it's all about storyline. So
Yeah,
Wyatt, who's, Air Force general hero, great guy, nothing
Lieutenant.
but respect, or a guy who's known for pissing on people's graves?
Allegedly.
Those are his own words.
He didn't actually do it.
Yeah,
In
But
but
he
fact,
he.
did
that's
say
his
it.
future. That's his new teammate.
Well,
Well,
they're
we'll talk
the
about that
same
in another
team.
video, but yeah.
I guess it's we're building the tension, building the excitement coming up to it. Um, but if a little bit of a hypothetical here, if Gable beats Wyatt in that match, and it is the close match that it was until Gable gave up that last second takedown,
Mhm.
do you think Gable wins the Hodge? Do you think Carter wins the Hodge?
I mean, I
I
think it's
think
going to be just as close. Like,
I
I think
think they might give a split.
I think that either way, Carter probably wasn't going to win it.
yeah, like I think it would have been just as close, but probably gone to Gable.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happened. If Gable wins, he does his backflip, he puts his
And,
shoes back in the mat, and then he wins
and
the
Bo
Hodge.
Nickel still has sour grapes.
Yeah,
Do you think that Carter not winning the Hodge tarnishes his legacy when compared to some of these other guys?
I don't.
I don't know about. I don't think it tarnishes. I don't think it's like makes it like, oh, it's not as good now.
Well,
I think if he had it, it would have been a bonus, but it's kind of like an extra thing that would have been nice to have, but it doesn't look like it's not a poor reflection.
would you put him on the Mount Rushmore of college wrestling?
No,
It's so tough because
not.
he won all the time, but he didn't do it in the dominating fashion that we saw guys like Jason Nolf and Bo Nickel do. I mean,
Well, he also,
Jason
yeah, he
Nolf,
didn't like change the sport
he
either.
just won.
Yeah, like
And as crazy as that sounds, like I think we saw just how hard it is to be a multiple time champion. And Gable kind of exemplified that because all season it was a next topic kind of thing. And he didn't even win his third. So for people to be like, well, if you gave Kyle Dake or Kale Sanderson or Logan Stieber a fifth year, they would have won it too, obviously. And it goes, well, first off, Parker Keckeisen and Wyatt both had a fifth year. Like, let that be clear. They have
yeah,
the same amount of eligibility that Carter had. Carter just happened to win. They're all the same age.
yeah.
So,
Well,
people getting mad about that is
one
one.
interesting thing is though that back in like Dan Gable's era, you
Yeah.
didn't get to compete as a freshman, so he never had the opportunity. I mean, granted, he lost his last match, so he was only a two-time champ, three times finalist. But like, we'll never know how he would have done as a freshman.
Yeah.
He didn't even have the opportunity to compete.
Agreed.
I
But
don't remember what year they started allowing for like all 4 years. So like, there's a
70s, I
whole,
think.
yeah, there's a whole section of like great wrestlers that never even had the option to get to like the brands.
They were
Didn't
given 2 years.
I think the brands only had three.
No, they were. I'm almost positive they were all both given four. They came
They
late
were
enough.
given four? Okay.
But
Oh
to get
no,
back,
no, that's I'm thinking of Terry because Terry didn't start 1 year because Tom did.
yeah.
Okay.
But for people that were like, oh well, Carter just won five. It's not as impressive. I think that again, like, there's no guarantee that Kale would have won five. I'd say the odds were very, very, very in his favor. But same thing with Yanni, Logan Stieber. Like, there's no guarantee. That's what's so awesome and so horrible
Well,
about this sport is that there's nothing guaranteed in
I
it.
think of the four-time champs, Kale and Dake were probably more likely than Yanni
Logan.
or Logan because
Yeah.
Zane was a freshman when he beat uh, Logan,
Mhm.
and Yanni, I mean, he was on the brink of losing frequently.
He
Um,
even commented that now. He's like, I was gifted a win.
yeah,
Who said that?
Yanni, when he spoke about his uh which match, I think it was his Bryce Meredith match. I think he said like it wasn't like he after the fact was like wasn't a takedown, but they gave it to me. But whatever.
Mm.
And he's like, yeah, like it is what it is. He goes, I'm not gonna argue in favor that I shouldn't have. That was the call, and that I stand by the call, but I don't think it is the right call now.
mm.
Um,
Do you think looking back,
That's similar to Logan Stieber.
yeah, with Jordan
well,
Oliver's
yeah.
match.
Do you think looking back, who has the most, and this is a question for the chat too, comment down below. Who had the more impressive college career, Gable Steveson or David Taylor?
I would say
Both
David
two-time
Taylor.
champs.
Both two-time champs and both two-time Hodge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And both
But Gable took
four-time
second and
finalists.
third. No, Gable took third.
Third
he
as a
took-
freshman.
Oh, he
Yeah,
took third?
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, he
Kassar
lost
beat him
in the semis?
Yeah,
yeah.
and
He
then
lost in the
Kassar beat,
semis to Kassar.
and then Kassar
He
beat
was he was 3-1-1-2, whereas David Taylor was
2.
1-2-1.
2-1, 2-1.
But I mean, he would if Dake went a different weight class,
Yeah, they were not
David
even
Taylor
on the
would have won.
conversation.
He would have been a three-time champ.
Well, I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Well, yeah, I guess that's fair. I would say
Yeah.
David Taylor had the more impressive career.
Yeah.
I think that Gable was a product of the right time. I think that like he could have had the much had Gable is the perfect example of woulda, coulda, shoulda because if you go back to when he was at Minnesink Valley, there you're looking at a guy like, man, this is going to be the next generational talent. We talked about this. Like, there's no reason Gable should not have redshirted his freshman year, gone on to win 4 titles, won several Olympic golds and many world titles up to this point in his career as a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
There's zero reason for it, but because his career was kind of mismanaged, and he got to try and have mixed success at other things like the NFL and WWE, we never really got to see how good he could have been. And I feel like we saw that with David Taylor. We saw all of his successes, which makes it easy for me to say, well, yeah, he accomplished more.
Yeah.
So, congrats to Wyatt Hendrickson. Well deserved. I think he was well deserved. I'm happy with the result there. Let us know your thoughts down below about Wyatt Hendrickson. I think the future is very, very high for Team USA in terms of heavyweights.
How's everybody liking the call-ins?
Yeah, the call-ins. And if you want to find yourself on the show, send us an email at cactuswrestlingbros@gmail.com. A little audio clip will do, and we may just play your clip on the air here. So if you want to engage with Mike, and Jack, send us a call, and we hope to hear from you guys soon.
I hope Eamon's the next call-in.
God, that would be awesome.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.